Okay. Treek. I'm gonna have to skip conversation. Sorry, we've heard this before. There is some news. There's some news. Maximus just sent it to me in DM. Now go away. Lucasfilm Games' new partnerships mean the galaxy is the limit. What could this mean? The Disney-owned company just announced a new Star Wars title coming from Ubisoft and an Indiana Jones game coming from... Oh my god, are you serious? Today, Lucasfilm Games announced that it's entering a partnership with Ubisoft to create an open-world Star Wars game. Please don't be in the same way as Fallout 4. I'm joking. I know there's Bethesda Studio and then there's the Bethesda the producer, but the title will be developed by Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, marking the first time that a company outside of EA has produced a Star Wars game since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012, ending nearly 8 years of exclusivity. Also in the works is a new Indiana Jones game to be developed by Bethesda Game Studios, a newcomer to Lucasfilm's and Disney's properties. Let's start with Star Wars. Development on this new title is still very early. Massive is still recruiting for the project even, so details are sparse. Julian director of the Division 2 and the crew will serve as the game creative director, and the title will use Massive's Snowdrop engine. Beyond that, Lucasfilm Games hasn't revealed anything about the characters or settings within the Star Wars universe that the game will feature. This announcement follows yesterday's news that Lucasfilm is partnering with Bethesda to create an Indiana Jones title, the first non-Star Wars AAA game out of Lucasfilm in years. The move marks a seismic shift for Lucasfilm's approach to gaming, widening the tent for developers that want to create games using Lucasfilm franchise, particularly in the Star Wars universe. Maybe they finally found out how much money there is in gaming. While EA had previously suggested that the company would have exclusivity on the Star Wars games for 10 years, it seems like either that was misstated or the clock has run out early. Lucasfilm will not confirm for Wired either way. Regardless, EA will keep making games in the future, but Lucasfilm Games is free to seek other partners. EA has been and will continue to be a very strategic and important partner for us now and going forward, Sean Shoptaw, Senior Vice President of Global Games and Interactive Experiences at Disney, told Wire. But we did feel like there's room for others. Yes. You know what this means? Do you know what this means? This could mean Star Wars 1313. That could maybe come back. Or the Darth Maul game. Oh, the possibilities. In 2013, Disney laid off 150 employees at LucasArts, ending in-house game development. The rationale at the time was that the move would minimize the company's risk while achieving a broader portfolio of quality Star Wars games, according to a statement the company made to The Hollywood Reporter at the time. However, in the years since, the EA exclusivity deal has been criticized as a bottleneck to that goal. Aside from a few small mobile or VR games, the number of major Star Wars games from EA since 2013 can be counted on one hand. By allowing more developers to bring in their ideas for games, Lucasfilm hoped to diversify the titles it offers. The Star Wars galaxy is an amazing source of motivation for our team to innovate and push the boundaries of our medium, building new worlds, characters, and stories that will become lasting parts of the Star Wars lore in an incredible opportunity for us. And we are excited to have our Ubisoft massive studio working closely with Lucasfilm Games to create an original Star Wars adventure that is different from anything that has been done before. Oh, you better. You better deliver on this. You better. I think if you look at the games landscapes, It's such a diverse population of folks across the world that makes games, Shoptaw explains. For us to go capture the amount of quality that exists in the world and be fast to market, it would be a big challenge for us to do that internally. Just like with past EA games, any new Star Wars games will be part of the same Star Wars canon and continuity, shared across all the movies and TV shows produced since Disney acquisition. James Vaugh, Lucasfilm's VP of Franchise Content and Strategy, explains that while this means a game won't always connect directly to content in other media, the possibility is on the table. I think where people get tripped up on that sometimes it's like, oh, then it has to connect to everything else. And that's not necessarily what we are always saying, what told Wired. That will happen if it's right for that story. Oh, the possibilities! This new non-exclusive arrangement for Star Wars games, as well as the rest of Lucasfilm's library of franchises, leaves open the door for developers to pitch their own ideas for stories to Lucasfilm games. I should so be a story writer for them. We get no shortage of folk knocking on our door wanting to play with our toys, Douglas Riley, VP of Lucasfilm Games, told Wired. You're damn straight. Among that camp is Todd Howard, the famed director of Skyrim, among many other games. Oh, really? Is also a huge Indiana Jones fan. What's been most inspiring about the indie game in particular is it's a passion project for Todd Howard, Vaugh explains. He came in with a point of view and a story that he really believes in. Well, he also has something to prove. Of course, these franchises, that's just my thing. Of course, these franchises are still, in Riley's words, Lucasfilm's toys. Ultimately, we have final approval over everything, Riley explained. While developers, including but no longer exclusively at EA, may have the freedom to pitch ideas for stories to the company, those developers will still be playing inside the Disney Playhouse. Keeping both gamers and developers inside the Playhouse seemed to be the ultimate goal for the newly rebranded Lucasfilm Games. Increasingly, video games compete for leisure and entertainment time with film and TV! Yeah, and it has been like that for decades. Disney has a long history of dominating film and TV, competing for consumers' eyeballs, but it lacks the same level of experience with video games. Leveraging the talent of outside studios could mean consumers spend far more hours of the day inside the company's sprawling franchise than they would if Disney relied on film and TV alone. Finally, they see the light. As we look to the next 50 years of Lucasfilm, we look forward to continue the wonderful legacy in games, which has introduced so many memorable characters and stories. These new collaborations will allow the Lucasfilm Games team to pursue fresh and exciting directions in the storytelling of Star Wars and Indiana Jones in imaginative and different ways than those explored by our films. Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. Oh, there's gonna be some people. A single story-driven game can take up dozens of hours. An open-world game like the kind Ubisoft is making with Lucasfilm Games can potentially push into the hundreds of hours, depending on how long a player wants to explore. That really leans into why we're doing what we're doing, because these are massive entertainment experiences that last many hours, much longer than a film, Shoptaw explained. When people are paying $70 and they are paying good amounts of money to spend time with your content and play your games, aka microtransaction, Shoptaw continued, you got to reward that investment. Whether you feel like relaxing at the end of the day by watching a TV show or picking up the controller to play a game, Lucasfilm will have something to keep you entertained. And by opening the door to third-party developers, many of whom are staffed by people who grew up with franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, the company will never run out of ideas from across the industry to bring under its tent. Is this good news or are you skeptical? Let me hear. I have to admit, I think this looks like a really good, this looks like, ooh, I'm excited. However, I do have a criticism. Why with Ubisoft? Why Ubisoft? This is massive news, and I have totally lost track of chat. I'm so sorry. Basically, it means that EA will no longer have exclusivity. Get rid of all kinds of exclusivities. We do not like it. Give us what we want. Well, it has to be said that EA is not being told you're not allowed to do anything anymore. They're just not having the exclusive right anymore. That's the only thing. It's like they can still make Star Wars games, and that is what the article is talking about as well, that they still will work with EA because they have, after all, worked with them for 10 years. But now they're letting others do the same.